Yeah, make your case. Why don't you make a case and then we could talk about it? Let's do a thing where we're not like I want flat earthers in my world. If I have to have people I have to live with, almost every flat earther is I'm cool. Like I could move next door and be cool with them as people.
Hmm.
It's people. They're cool as people. They can be wrong on the stupid issue because of the way they don't understand things.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were willing to look at something despite taking all this criticism and hostility and to think on it and say, hold on, I'm going to stand on what I believe, though I don't necessarily know that much. Like, I love Eddie Bravo. Okay, we want to move them, but I think it's this propensity. There's something about intuition and the left brain about ideas and how they fit and sit with you, and so you're more likely to take with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think many of the people who are arguing flat Earth are arguing, hey, there's something to the Bible, and they're wanting that to be the case, and there absolutely is something to the Bible.
Here's an interesting thing, though. I was looking up the other day about Eric Dubay. Eric Dubay is into Kundalini.
Oh, okay.
He's into all this sort of New Age stuff.
Yeah, no, he wants to teach you that you're God. Then.
Yeah, well, it's very.
Let's talk about that.
Well, and
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, and that's sort of my deal with like my problem. If they say, "Oh, there's got to be a motive behind this. The motive is supposedly to hide God," but then why is it there are cultures that don't accept God at all that held to flat Earth? Like Eric Dubay, he's probably the top YouTube flat earther out there.
Right.
On YouTube. And he's preaching Kundalini. He's preaching all sorts of very New Age ideas, not biblical ideas. Right. It can't be about motive here. So, like, the reason why the flat Earth, it can't be to hide the motive for God, because people that are blind New Agers or pagan cultures have accepted the idea the Earth was flat.
Right.
So this can't be propaganda to try and convince people it's God.
Right.
And especially if you look at where does flat Earth theory round Earth theory come from? Well, it comes from like Ptolemy and the Ptolemaic model.
Tell me about that.
Well, that Ptolemy, he was like
P-T-O-L.
Yeah, P-T-O-L-M-E. He's
E-M-Y.
one of he was astronomer, and so he developed the charts of the geocentric model. He thought the sun went around the Earth, but people thought it was round. Like I believe the Greeks thought it was Pythagoras, the first to propose the idea of the Earth was round.
Oh yeah, well the Egyptians thought it was a flat disc, and they thought it was round, but like a flat disc, like a round Earth.
You know what though? The Egyptians figured out the sun rose and set.
Yeah, sun set.
The sun goes below, right. Like look at just this picture right here. See how the bottom of the clouds are lit up? Right here. Ancient people were able to figure out the sun is going beneath the earth because they can see pictures like this. They can see the bottoms of the clouds lit up, and they can see the suns now. So modern flat earth models don't have this because they need to account for time zones. Ancient people didn't understand the idea of time zones. Like this is the Babylonian Talmud.
Talmud, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
It's talking about the sages. The point is just saying that this is what they are believing at the time. They're saying the sun travels beneath the sky by day and above the sky by night. This is one interpretation. So they're trying to figure out where does the sun go at night.
Right.
So they thought that in the Talmud the sky was solid and the sun went over top of the sky at night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's flat and it's traveling underneath it, and it's going to pop up on the other side.
Yeah. Some of them believed it went underneath the earth, and that's what caused like water to be warm. Like you find a warm spring.
Oh yes, and that would make the spring warm. Interesting. Yeah, of course. One. Oh yeah, fun. All right. Hidden above the wall of the firmament.
Yeah.
While the sages of the nations of the world maintain it travels beneath the sky by day and below the earth. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't agree with these guys.
Yeah, listen,
I don't agree with these guys here. Yeah.
He says, "Call no man rabbi." I don't want to consult rabbis for their.
Yeah, and this is the Quran here, Surah 18, verses 86. And it talks about, till he went and came to the place of the sunset, and he discovered the sun setting into a murky pool. So this is a story about Alexander the Great, supposedly, in the Quran. He goes to the place where he travels so far west.
That he actually found the spot where the sun sank into a pool of water.
Yeah.
Like because there was an ocean or something in the horizon.
Yeah, now, modern Muslims, they're not going to say that that's teaching what it obviously appears.
Yeah, it's not a literal
They would
teaching.
just say it's like, it appears as if it was
That's how
going
it
in the
appeared
water.
to him. Yeah.
But my point is, whether either interpretation is true, that's a problem for a flat Earth model, because the flat Earth model says no, it doesn't set at all. Well, also, like, they usually try and translate as sea here, but like the Quran, I've looked at a couple different translations. They translate like muddy water, murky pool.
So, but why are you sourcing the Quran?
Well, I'm just trying to show that like ancient flat Earth models don't agree with the modern flat Earth model. The modern flat Earth model has this idea that there are time zones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the ancient flat Earth model had no such concept.
According to us, but then there's nothing new under the sun. And
Well,
no, actually, you know what? I distrust that. I really distrust that. You know why? Because we're looking at a global civilization of pyramids everywhere. These guys who built these pyramids, whatever, there may have been a level to them that was arcane and you know, religiously weird.
For me, like, I think they were very intelligent.
Knowledge. Yeah, very intelligent.
But I think in some ways, like today, like in some ways we're very intelligent, but in other ways we're really, really dumb.
Yeah.
I think ancient people are just like that.
Okay, yeah. So I don't have a problem, but the idea with the round thing is, it does bother me. I like from conversations with our old friend. I remember thinking about how it did bother me, like him, the idea that you've got a ball that's spinning apparently at 1,000 miles per hour. Now you point out from a referential frame that doesn't seem so fast. However, if I take a string and I put a ball on the end of that string and I spin that sucker at 1,000 miles per hour, even though at the end it's moving relatively very slow. That's the idea.
So the difference here is angular velocity versus just regular velocity. So think about how fast the Earth spins. The Earth spins once per day. That's the angular velocity of the Earth. Okay? Now, here's another thing. Okay? A clock spins the hour hand once every 12 hours. So the Earth has less angular velocity than a clock spinning. Because this clock is spinning twice as fast as the Earth is, if you think of the hour hand. You know those old analog clocks.
Yeah.
The hour hand is moving once every 12 hours, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it spins twice per day. The Earth is spinning slower than that.
Right. So it doesn't really feel like we have to have a lot of gravity, but that's the
But here's the thing: like if you go up and you look at
the
hour hand of a clock,
you know what it is. This is the problem the flat earthers have. They're stuck because they have some things that I believe are axioms that they're standing on, that they're solid with, but their overall composite is where the problem is. But that doesn't mean that the rest of us escape that same problem. Right? The same problem that we think, well, duh, we get up, the sun's rising in the east, setting in the west, we think we understand everything. But we know there's problems.
I have actually those slides here.
Do you? Okay.
So like you can see pictures like these where like you have a ship and then as it goes away you can see half of it missing, bottom up. So that this guy decided to zoom in. He used a P1000, so I assume that's better than a P900.
I would presume that.
I would presume. So, like, because the flat earthers say more zoom causes ships to come back over the horizon. So here we're out here. Well, I showed this to you.
No, but isn't that proven?
No, it's actually proven false. It's a myth. So, like here.
Okay, hold on. There's because a lot of people who are going to watch this, they're going to be challenging that. I think. Well, because so I keep seeing videos that seem to show that. So what's wrong with those videos?
Well, they're showing of something that's out of perspective and then suddenly coming back into perspective.
Oh, so it's a bit like when you get on the ride.
Yeah, it's not. They didn't take something that was actually beyond the horizon, showed half of it missing.
No, but in this picture you've got, I like this idea. You're starting on the shoreline, and you say, okay, we're going to look at.
These are just snapshots I took from a video that this guy did.
But how far are those things?
How far?
Yeah, what's the furthest one on the left just out of sight?
I don't know. I don't have the distances, but you can see that in this one.
You need because you could do the math.
It doesn't.
You could calculate. Look, if you could see it.
Well,
if you can see it, but even if you have a camera or with your lens.
Well, one topic at a time, though. All we need to know is if half of the ship disappears and you zoom in and it reappears, then that's a falsification of that theory. So you agree, like, a good percentage of this ship here, it's hard to see, but just above my mouse, it's disappeared.
Yeah.
And this one here, it's mostly visible. This one here, it's probably half visible, I would say.
Right.
It's hard to see from this angle, but let's zoom in.
So you zoom in once.
So you can see a bit of that is missing, a lot of that is missing, little bit of that is missing, hardly anything. Because this is really close, that's much further away. That's
yeah.
So zooming in, you can see this edge of this ship. It didn't pop up at all. This is still the same relative height.
Yeah, isn't it? But when you that last bit, yeah,
and then here, this is here. So zoomed in, we just zoomed in now. The top shot is the zoomed in of the shot.
Maybe it's an illusion of how our eyes adjust. Like as you zoom in and then you get to the next frame, it gives you an illusion that there's. Because if your zoomed in shot is the same as when it's zoomed out, and that's always the case,
Yeah.
then you're. But hold on, I thought I saw a video.
Yeah,
where hold on, there was a ship, and you watch the ship, and I thought you watch the ship sort of disappear, and then the guy with his P900 goes, eep, and he zooms in, and then you can see it again, right?
Well, what I've seen, those are just taking a ship that's out of perspective, and then putting it back into perspective.
But if it's always got the same amount, that's
but like here we have something that is like beyond the edge or beyond the curvature. That there's part of it missing. And so the point is, by zooming in, it doesn't change anything. You can keep doing this experiment. But so all the ones I've seen that Flatter's done, they've never done something that's over the edge. Zoomed in, saw half missing, zoomed in more, and
but maybe that's just what you should see. Like for example, maybe this is exactly what you should see if their model's correct. In that when you go, okay, so if I'm standing on the shore, and I look out and I see that ship right there, okay, and it looks the one on the right. Forget the thing on the left.
Okay.
And that's what I see. And anyway, then it's traveling away from me. Let's say that's the back end of the ship, and we see it traveling away from me, and it keeps going, and then all of a sudden, it looks to me like it's disappeared. That's what they're showing. It looks like it's disappeared. Then with their zoom, they zoom in, and it reappears back to the same size as it is now, but you're now seeing it further, which suggests that it's flat and it's just further away.
So what's going on there is it didn't disappear by going over the edge.
No.
It disappeared by going to perspective. So like if I take my hand or an object and I just keep walking away from you till you can't see it anymore, and then you take a camera, zoom in, you can see it again. It didn't go over the edge. What you need to do to have an experiment be effective is you need a picture like this. You need to zoom in on it, and you get this again. Here's the thing about a camera. A camera doesn't have this magical effect to cause things to appear in this
literal.
It only magnifies what is there. So if you zoom in on any object that is hidden beyond the horizon, no matter how much, whether it's 1,000 times or 2,000 times, no amount of zooming in is going to cause something to appear that is hidden. And these photos prove that this is the case.